Hi guys, kia ora, whakalofa lahi atu, and no mai hoki mai. Welcome back to today's podcast episode. Today we're talking about loving yourself enough to feel the feelings instead of numbing out. I think that's what the title is. Yeah, instead of numbing out, feel the feels. Now, so many of us were not taught how to feel our feelings. I feel like even to this day, people aren't taught how to feel our feelings. If we cry, we're told like, oh no, don't cry. Like hold it together. Like, oh my gosh, you're not strong. Like be strong, hold it together, don't cry. Or if it's angry, it's like, no, you can't express that, right? If you're sad, don't express that, lock it up, box it up, don't express that here. Only happy emotions are allowed. And it's like those feelings, those things get stored, right? If you don't process the emotions, the sad emotions, the tears, the anger, the resentment, whatever the emotion is, if you don't process that, it gets stored in your body, right? And there's a lot of people walking around with stored, bottled up shit, and they just unleash it at all the wrong moments and all the wrong ways, right? So it's like feeling the feelings in the most beautiful way. I feel like a lot of people are scared to express their emotions because they haven't been taught how to do it in the right way, in a healthy way, should I say. They're not taught how to do it in a healthy way. So a lot of times when people express their emotions, they're crying, they're screaming, they're, having arguments and fights, and there's anger and there's all this, right? And it's usually, off the cuff. It's not like a planned thing. It's somebody says something that sets you off, or you've got all this emotion stored up in you, and then you're stuck in traffic, and then someone flips you off, and then you want to get out of the car and you want to fight them and all these things. And that's how they're processing it. And it's because we're told to, shut up and hold it in. And we're told how to cope and to like push through, don't feel it, right? And this podcast is all about loving yourself enough to feel those feelings because they're stored within you, and you need to create that safe space for them to come out in a healthy way, for them to be processed in a healthy way. And you need to create that safe space for you to be able to cry, to be able to scream, to be able to, emotionally like just fucking let that shit out. However it is that you need to let that out, right? And a lot of the times people are numbing out because it is easier, right? That's how they cope. So something tragic happens that makes them feel sad, makes them feel angry, makes them feel like they want to cry. Traumatic shit happens and they numb out. So when I say numb out, it's like you're literally numbing your mind. You're trying not to deal with it. So you're like, okay, I'm going to focus on something else. I'm going to focus on nothing. I'm going to numb my mind with scrolling on my phone, with watching reality TV, with drinking, with drugs, with sex, with work, with staying busy, with always being around friends, with overworking. Numbing out is what you do when your nervous system doesn't feel safe enough to feel. So it's when you avoid those big feelings, right? All those feelings that feel too big to be able to process, too messy, too inconvenient, the ones that you don't have time for, right? So you like push it. I remember one of my coaches, she used to be like, shove it under the rug. Actually, we do that a lot in the Polynesian culture, right? Just shove it under the rug and keep going, keep pushing. But there's a rug with a mountain of like shit that's shoved under it, and your rug's no longer a rug. It's a mountain, it's a pile, and it's fucking pulling that rug back and being like, what's in here? It's time to process that shit. Now, when I was thinking about this as well, I was like, when you numb out those big feelings, I feel like you do that with the small things as well. So like when you're having a happy day, it's like you kind of minimize all the things. You minimize the joy, you minimize the happiness, you minimize all the good feelings. And that's a part of the cost of numbing out. And a lot of women I've worked with as well, like they're seen as the strong one, the one that has it all together. They have to keep going because they've got to get the household running. They have kids, they're the matriarch of the family. If they crumble, everything crumbles with them. And feeling your feelings doesn't mean that you spiral or that you crumble or that, you cry uncontrollably for days and days and days and you're stuck in bed and you're depressed and all these things. That's not what it is. It's allowing whatever is coming up to move through you. So you'll be feeling something and you're not going to be given anything that you can't control or you can't manage, right? If something's popping up, if there's like a freaking flashing light and it's like, hey, hey, it's me here. It's the shit you didn't process last week when somebody yelled at you and it's flashing. It's there because you're ready to see it, right? So it's like, oh, okay, this thing's flashing. I'm just going to take a look at it. Oh shit, yeah, when that person yelled at me, I did feel really sad and I wasn't able to process that. Maybe I'll take a moment today to just process how I felt. Maybe it's journaling. Like, actually, yeah, I felt really fucked up. Like, I can't believe he yelled at me for some silly reason and then I didn't stand up for myself or I didn't say anything back and now I hold a lot of resentment that he talked to me that way or whatever it is, right? And you're journaling it out or you're crying and you're allowing those emotions to work through you, or you're shaking, you're like allowing the emotions to like come through because they're stored in the body, right? So it's like giving yourself time and then you process that. Then maybe there's another flashing light and maybe it's something bigger and it's like, oh, remember that time when back in childhood, I don't know, you were neglected or what, you were left at school, whatever it is, then that thing, and then you deal with that and it's like you're feeling through these all these emotions and you're processing it and you're allowing that to move through you instead of being stored, because it's when it's stored in the body, that shit, if it's unattended, it can evolve to some really, really fucked up things, to ailments, to freaking aches and pains and cancers and diseases and all the things if you don't look at that shit. So going back to when I talk about self-abandonment and self-love, the self-abandonment is pushing it down, is, keeping busy, is numbing out. And the self-love is sitting with the feelings, staying with it, acknowledging the feelings, acknowledging the disappointment, the resentment, whatever it is, and not judging it as well, just being aware of it. And a lot of the times we do this in moments where we actually don't have the capacity to process it as well. You're in fight or flight. So sometimes you're in really fucked up situations and you don't have a moment to even process it because you're trying to just fucking stay alive. You're just trying to survive. And for me, I've had so many moments like this, but one moment that kind of always brings back, and it's like the turning point in my life, is when I lost my job as an international flight attendant, right? I was feeling a lot of shame, a lot of anger, a lot of disappointment. I felt like a failure. And I would just numb out. I would not try and feel the pain and all the things and look at why I felt the way, because I didn't know. I actually didn't know that you had to think, like, I was so unconscious in my life. I was just so not aware of my life at all. I knew that I felt all this type of way, but I was like, oh, you're a failure. You're bad. You're not, like, all of this, like, really, really mean things to myself, right? So much so that I ran away. I pushed it all down and I was like, no, I'm going to run away from my problems. I'm going to run away from all those fucking fucked up feelings and I'm going to move to another country and they're not going to follow me, right? Well, newsflash, it followed me to the other country and it just freaking multiplied and it just got worse and worse and worse. And the more I wasn't feeling the feels, I wasn't feeling that shit, I was numbing out. My life was just so freaking fucked up. It got to a point where I was crying in fetal position and I was like, what the fuck is life? Like, this cannot be it. Rock bottom moment. And you get to that moment and it's like, your life is so fucked up. Now I have to listen. Now I have to feel. Now I have to look at my life, right? And a lot of people get them into like really, really fucked up situations, homeless, I don't know, on their deathbeds, divorce, disease, all those kinds of things. For me, I was in a toxic household. I was in a toxic relationship. I was in a toxic relationship with myself. I was in a toxic work environment. I was drinking, smoking, numbing out. I was taking drugs. I hated myself. I was just like broke, all the things, right? So it was like, oh, now that I'm at this rock bottom moment, now I have to pay attention. Now I have to look at my life. What am I looking at? Oh shit, there's so many things that I avoided feeling. Let's go back to the time where you got fired and you felt ashamed and you didn't allow yourself to cry and to feel and to fucking be there for yourself. You abandoned yourself, right? It's like going back to, actually, Leash, you didn't know any better. You did the best that you could at that time. And maybe you did some fucked up things, but I still love you. I still accept you. You're still enough. And then it's going to these other moments. And then the next moment and the next moment. And that was the work that I got into, was like fucking going back to the times where I felt neglected and abandoned as a child, where I was taught that because of my size, I wasn't good enough. I wasn't pretty enough. I needed to lose weight to be enough in this world. 6-year-old, right? So it's going back to all those moments and feeling the feels. When I had to go back to my 6-year-old, that was abandoned, neglected, tears. I cried like someone died. But it was because there was so much stored that I didn't allow myself to feel. And I didn't have the capacity to do that at 6 years old, right? But then I was 28 at the time that I did that. And that 28-year-old cried like a 6-year-old. You heard the cry was like a 6-year-old's cry, right? And I processed that and I allowed that to move through my body, unlocked that next level. Oh shit, 11-year-old girl, no, 13-year-old girl it was, coming home from school. Mum left, mum was gone. I cried like a 13-year-old that would cry when she got home from school and her mum was nowhere to be seen. Right? Feeling neglected, feeling abandoned, felt all those feels. Next level, being there with myself as well, not abandoning, being right next to that girl as me now. I think it was 30-year-old self, 31-year-old self, 32-year-old. I'm sitting with my 13-year-old self and I'm like, I got you, girl. I got you. I'm not going to abandon you. I love you. I'm here for you. All the things. And this is what it is. This is the feelings. This is why now I feel so deeply. When I'm happy, I feel fucking deeply. When I'm sad, I feel fucking deeply. I'm an emotional person, but I love it so much because I've allowed myself to be like this because I've processed so much stuff. So, I could go on forever of examples and examples, but I love to give you action steps. And for the next time that you know that you're about to numb out, instead of feeling the feelings, maybe something fucked up happened, or you notice now, like, how do you numb out? What was your go-to? Mine was eating food. I would numb out with food. I would numb out with drugs. I would numb out with alcohol for a period there. I remember when my first heartbreak, numbing out with drugs and alcohol and partying and being around other boys, sleeping with other boys and all the things, attention from other boys. So it's like, figure out how do you numb out now? Are you smoking? Are you vaping? Are you drinking? Are you always around friends? Are you overworking? What is your numbing out preference? Is it food? So what is that thing? And then the next time you go to do that thing, pause. Why am I numbing out? Why am I eating so much? Why do I feel like I want to go on a binge fest right now? Actually, it's because I had a bad day at work and I made it mean that I wasn't good enough because someone said something or whatever it is, right? Maybe it's because I didn't get the external validation I wanted today from X, Y, and Z. Maybe it's this, maybe it's that. So pausing in the moment and just being curious, not judging yourself, being curious. And then you get to make a decision. Are you going to still numb out? And there will be moments where you're so aware and you're like, yep, but I'm still going to go and smoke weed. I'm still going to go and get high. I'm still going to go and eat and binge and all the things. But at least you're aware now. You're one step closer. The next time you do it, you might do a little bit of that stuff, drink a little bit less, scroll a little bit less, next time less and less and less, to the point where it's like, actually, no, I'm not choosing that because I love myself enough. I'm going to feel that shit right now. I'm going to feel the feelings right now. And it may even be coming into Destination Self-Love and having a supportive community to feel all the feelings with. And you may need help from somebody, like other people, right? You may need to get other people involved. But the next step would be to sit with it. Sit with the feelings, cry, scream, yell, cry. Make sure you have a safe space to cry. And if you're struggling with crying, if you're like, I really, really need to cry, but you can't, it's because you haven't created that safe space. So create it within yourself. Say nice things to yourself. Allow, I'm here for you, Leash. I got you, Leash. Whatever is coming up, I trust that we can work through this together. If it's the anger, screaming into your pillow, finding a space where you can scream, going to a mountain and screaming. In my car, I used to turn the music up loud, drive, scream. All the things, let all the things come out, right? You're driving, nobody can hear you. Especially if you've got your music up as well. If you're sitting in traffic and screaming, someone might call the cops. But make sure you're driving, right? Go for a drive. Scream, turn the music up. Go to a smash room, create a space where you can allow that. Go to kickboxing, fighting, boxing, whatever. Allow that shit to come out. And you don't even have to explain yourself. If you cry, don't even try to find the meaning why and all the things. Just allow it to come out. Don't judge it. Allow it. Don't be like, I don't even know why I'm crying. I'm such a sook. I don't know what. No. Just allow the emotions to come out. Even dancing, that's another way to move it out. But sit with the discomfort instead of trying to escape it. Sit with the discomfort, sit with the uncomfortable feelings, create that safe space within yourself. And like I said, if you feel like you can't do that with yourself, reach out to someone you trust, a professional. And I just want you to know, it's not about like you're never going to live a life where none of this happens, right? You're going to feel your whole life, right? Your nervous system is going to fucking be dysregulated now and again and all the things. And it's good because this is good for growth. So this shit isn't as the end game is not that you're never going to feel this way ever again. It's that when you feel like you need to cry, you need to scream, you have these big emotions, these big moments, traumatic events, that you have a safe space within yourself to process it, to deal with it, to feel it, to allow it to come move through you, that you can handle what is going to come up, that your body becomes so strong and it learns that, like, I can do this, I can survive this, I got this, I got you. So I love you so much. You got this. Thank you so much for being here. Again, if you need help, come into Destination Self-Love, message me, DM me DSL, but I'll talk to you a pōpō ka kite. Koe kia!